Hello again, guys, and welcome back to another round of racing from the Midnight Oil Racing League. This is Season 3, Round 2 of the Midnight Oil Racing League's GT7 Championship. So, coming into this round, we have got a rundown through the standings. So, we have got Too Fast for You's currently leading the way with 45 points. Thomas is currently second place and current current Midnight Oil Racing League champion. Currently in second with 34 points. Silent Hunter actually tied with him, also on 34 points. And actually Ice Chand as well on 34 points in fourth place. So them three drivers all tied at the moment, technically for second. So Mawson currently fifth with 25. Chuck is in sixth with 22. Vexed is in seventh with 21. We got Blood Diamond in eighth with 19. Dan Bailey's in ninth with 17. Asbo on 14 points. Dirty Dubs yet to score any points. Ions Clutch also didn't make last week, as did Jerry Smile. So all on 0 points at the moment. So without further ado, shall we get into this first race? We'll have a rundown through the grid. So after qualifying, Thomas manages to take pole with Mawson very close in second place. Pickle, not too shabby this evening, in third. Wayne G in fourth. Clutch, very good qualifying there for Clutch. Manages to put the Audi in fifth place, and a very good, nice delivery on that. We'll have a look in a bit. Blood Diamond starts in sixth with Dan Bailey in seventh. Vexed only managed eighth. Chuck in ninth. Jerry Smiles 10th. Asbo 11th. Ice Chand only good enough for 12th around Tokyo East clockwise. So let's see how the race unfolds for him. And Jonesy will start at the back. Jonesy making his debut in the newly formed Midnight Oil Racing League in this race. So without further ado, let's get into it. And there's going to be shenanigans aplenty, as there always is around Tokyo. So let's get it underway. The klaxon sounds, they are off. Not too many positions being made as yet, although Wayne G getting a really good getaway in the background there. I think he's managed to get past Mawson, so Mawson drops down to second place. In fact, takes the lead of the race. Thomas now down to second place, Mawson down to third. We have Pickle there in at fourth. Trying to come back, though, around... We'll try and have a look on the car ahead. Also defending against Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond looking very quick indeed. Looking to get a move done on Pickle. In fact, he is past Pickle now. He's up to fourth place. Almost three wide though at the back here. We've got Dan Bailey in the mix there as well. Dan Bailey looking for the move on Pickle. Has he managed to get past him? I think he has, yeah, just about. And Vexed also creeping up in seventh place at the moment. In fact, almost three wide here. So who's going to come off worse out of this? Oh, it looked like Vex getting squeezed into the wall, but Dan Bailey bouncing off and into the barrier. Somehow coming off not too bad out of that. And then there's another incident there. What happened there? So we'll find a better camera. So this was the initial contact between Vexed and Dan Bailey. So Vexed on the outside, nowhere to go, only wall there. Dan Bailey right up on his inside, bounces off somehow, manages to graze the wall. Pickle comes through, and I think that's Clutch on the inside, grazes the wall slightly, comes across, taps Vexed car, and just... what? How did that... I'm not sure how that contact sent Clutch into the wall. That was really bizarre. So Dan Bailey almost... yeah, same thing happened to Dan Bailey. Taps Vex's car and just comes flying off. And the same thing happened there to Clutch. Very strange indeed. However, the race continues, so we'll just go back again to that segment. And who was it? So Pickle came off better out of that. He managed to come through. So Clutch was coming really fast behind him, looking for the move on Pickle there. I think he almost managed to get past. So that was the initial contact there with Dan Bailey and Clutch. Dan Bailey actually comes off ahead there. So it's Dan Bailey and Vex. The Vex down to seventh. Dan Bailey up to fifth now, holding off Pickle. Pickle looking for the move though. Looking quite racy in that Porsche. And what tyres is Dan on? So Dan is in fact on the hard compound. Pickle on the mediums. So yeah, this battle at the back here is just going to get more and more spicy. Ice Chand manages to get past Vexed as well. So he's up a few positions now. Making his way through the field and looking for the move on Pickle. Actually gets the move done through that right-hander. Sketchy place to go for a move. Looked like Vexed looking for the move against Pickle. Couldn't quite get it done because Pickle managed to cover him off, but does finally go around the outside through the sweeping right-hander here. And looking to try and put the pressure on. So Asbo now up to 8th. He's on the back of Vex now. Pickle is down to 9th. We got Clutch there again. Clutch losing positions. Jerry is now up to 10th. We've got Clutch. In fact, Jerry, look at Jerry go. Jerry looking to put Pickle under some pressure now. He wants that 9th place. What can he do here? It's Porsche versus Porsche. In fact, Asbo going to lose that 8th place there to Pickle, or is he? Manages to stay ahead for the minute. Oh no! There's definitely contact there somewhere. Clutch has to sit behind now in 11th. Looks really quick though in that Audi. Gets shown the long way round by Asbo, can't get the move done again. I think maybe giving him a little bit of a bump there. Asbo almost gets the move done on Pickles ahead. So back at the front, we have Wayne G still in the lead of the race. On the medium tyres, we have Thomas on the racing hards. Thomas has some serious pace though on them hards. Doing 1:14.626s at the moment, so 1:14s on the board for Thomas. There's another 1:14 there. Everyone else also, the top 3 also on the 1:14s. Mawson currently with the fastest lap 2, 1:14.477 in the GR Supra. Blood Diamond trying to get onto the back of him, had a little bit of a graze with the barrier there. Didn't slow him down too much. Also on the hards though, so maybe struggling to get him to switch on at the moment. And in fact, it looks like Mawson going for a move now. Gets shown the long way round by Thomas, up into 2nd place, so now starting to challenge Wayne G. What can Too Fast do here? I think Too Fast also on the mediums, he is. So Mawson starting to come to life now, managing to retake a position from Thomas. Well and truly onto the back of Wayne G in the Dodge Viper. He's going to try and tuck under the wing, maybe set a move up somewhere. Really trying to put the pressure on to the Viper driver. Takes the fastest lap once again. 1:14.417 for Mawson. Really trying to wind the Super up now. Are we going to see the move come here up the hill? It looked like he was thinking about it. Maybe just happy to save fuel at the moment. Gets shown the long way round into the tunnel. Still can't quite get past Wayne G. And Thomas has managed to creep back onto him again. There was a little bit of a gap starting to open. Maybe Thomas having to cool his tyres down a little bit on the hard compound. Looks like he's starting to push again. There may have been a tiny bit of contact there. through that last turn. Blood Diamond trying to get onto the back of him as well. Dan Bailey currently sat in 5th place, but he is being really hounded now hard by Vexed. Vexed really wants to try and get the move done. I'm not sure he's aware that Dan Bailey's on the hards at this point, but really trying to put the pressure on. Maybe force an error or just set a move up somewhere. Both very strong cars. What can Vex do here? So he's managed to get past Ice Chand as well. Ice Chand now down to 7th place. Ice Chand and Pickle having a bit of a battle, not far behind. And there he is. There is the Iceman. Started a little bit further back, a few positions back. I think he started in 10th place. So making up 3 positions from the start of the race. Obviously 2 25-minute races in this round. Pickle is down to 8th now. Jerry Smiles is there in 9th. We have Clutch now 10th. Asbo is 11th. Jonesy in 12th. What happened to Chuck? Not too sure what happened to Chuck. Oh, and Thomas has managed to get back past Mawson again. So Thomas up into 2nd place. Mawson not giving up though. He's keeping that gap as close as he possibly can. Really trying to pressure the top 2. And Thomas has managed to get past Mawson. Can he get past Wayne G as well? At the moment, looking like he's having to go defensive against the Supra behind. And look at the top 3 go. Look how close they are. This is a crazy little battle. 3-way battle now for 1st place. Positions have been swapped once or twice for 2nd place. Can Thomas manage to take 1st? On the hard compound, remember, so Wayne G and Mawson on the softer, technically faster tyre. So Thomas doing an absolute sterling job at the moment. I don't know how he is so competitive on the hard compound. So Blood Diamond's tyres have died a bit of a death now. I wonder if he's going to be heading to the pits in the next lap or 2. On lap 8 now. Oh, and I think we missed. Oh, yeah, so we had to we had to just show this funny little incident. Vexed having a super unlucky day out in this first race. And Dan Bailey as well. I think Dan Bailey just getting caught out by the tyre wear maybe as he comes around this next turn. So grazes the barrier slightly, tries to correct it. Vex collects his rear and then almost gets pitted. Gets stuck on the wall. So yeah, Vexed pretty much out of the race now. Dan Bailey rejoins in 7th. Still some way to go, but yeah, funny little incident there. So we are on lap 8. And Thomas still trying to challenge for the lead of the race. So Blood Diamond is starting to lose time on them very worn hards in the Mercedes. Ice Chan and Pickle now having a battle. Pickle went a little bit deep for that last turn. Looked like he maybe grazed the barrier slightly on the exit there. Maybe slowed him down a little bit. Ice Chand all up under his bumper now. Ice Chand also going for the hards in the first stint. And Dan Bailey has managed to get onto the back of him once again as well. And player 3 has joined the battle. So I think it was around 20 laps this race. And I can tell you, I also pit a lap too early in this first race as well, which absolutely killed my tyres towards the end. So it was not a good day out. And also I felt like I had to push. The Clutch now in 8th place in the Audi R8. His tyres also start to die a bit of a death. When will he decide to go into the pits? We haven't seen anyone dive in yet. So all still fairly comfortable on their first set of tyres. Vex tyres look pretty good. Having to push now though. In fact, although he's on the hards, Asbo's tyres actually look pretty good on that Z4. So managing to, or beginning to manage the tyre wear pretty well. So Clutch does dive into the pits on that lap. Has Blood Diamond gone in? No, he hasn't. He stayed out on them racing hards. Ice Chan still hasn't got past Pickle. Dan Bailey still following it in 7th place. We've got Vex now 8th. Asbo 9th. Clutch into the pits. He's going to take on a fresh set of tyres. Chuck has got past Jonesy. Jerry Smiles all the way at the back now as well. 13th place for Jerry Smiles. Not sure what happened to him. Maybe he decided to take on a fresh set of tyres. Chuck must have been involved somewhere in an incident, I feel, that we haven't caught. We should go, no, we could go back at the end and see if we can find out where it was, but I have no clue what lap it was on. And that'd be 20 laps we'd have to go through to try and find the incident. But Jonesy, here's Jonesy making his debut here in the Midnight Oil Racing League. Actually managing his tyres really well as well. Mawson now into the pits. Currently 3rd place for Mawson. Maybe going for the undercut on the 2 cars ahead. Clutch has taken on a fresh set of racing hards. He's going to be taking them tyres to the end of the race, you would presume. Has he pit too early? Has he got enough fuel to make it to the end now? Maybe having a fuel save slightly. Starting to catch Danny Jones. He's managed to get the move done. I think Danny would have been getting blue flagged at that stage anyway. No, he's not been lapped, has he? He hasn't been lapped as yet, so he was fine for track position, but Clutch just came breezing through, took Jerry Smiles with him as well. Asbo now into the pits to get rid of them hards. Or is he sticking on a set of hards? What was he on before? Was he on hards? Yeah, he's come out on a set of medium, so he must have been on hards. GG Asbo, he had pace on them hards. That is great. I'm going to have to start trying the hards. Ah, Jonesy. So Jerry Smiles looking like he may have the run against Clutch here. He's going to look for the inside into the sweeping right-hander. Can't quite get it. Oh no, Clutch! And look, he had a bit of a snap of oversteer there on the exit. Bounced off the inside barrier. I thought he was going to completely come a cropper then, but it wasn't too bad in the end. Vex now into the pits. And Dan Bailey's also in. Mawson has also been into the pit, so the top 4 all still yet to pit. Mawson looking for the undercut on them 4 cars. Chuck finds himself now up to 6th place, but also still yet to pit. Dan Bailey out on a fresh set of mediums. Another 10 minutes left in this race. Probably around another 8 laps. 8 or 9 laps. Next on a set of racing softs, but I feel, well, I can tell you now, I pit a lap too early. I should have stayed out for another lap. Because them softs are going to become very dicey towards the end of the race. So Clutch and Jerry Smiles managing to catch once again. Clutch will soon be picking up the tow from the Citroen ahead, which should aid him in his battle against Jerry Smiles. And this is where Jerry seems to be really quick in that Porsche. Can he put Clutch under some pressure? It actually looks like he's lost a couple of temps, so Clutch starting to pull away a little bit. Thomas dives into the pits, as does Wayne G, as does Pickle. Jerry still cannot find his way past or onto the back of Clutch once again. And Vexed has managed to create a bit of a gap with the aid of that soft compound tyre. Can he close the gap to Dan Bailey though? They were so close at the start of the race up until that strange incident on lap 7. Very short lap though this one, and with the walls being as close as they are and there's walls surrounding the whole track, it is very difficult to avoid cars if they end up having a spin or a moment somewhere. So Mawson up into the lead of the race. Can he turn this into a win? It looks like he's got a nice bit of time at the moment over Wayne G. There's a few temps in it, but Wayne G very quick in that Viper. Also on the racing softs. So Mawson's got to try and defend on the hards. We'll have a little bit of an onboard. So we're on board currently with Too Fast, chasing down Mawson. But Mawson driving really well at the moment on them hards. The Wayne G knows he's got to get to the end of the race on them softs as well, so try not to be too aggressive. Closing right up through that braking zone once again, really starting to put Mawson under some pressure. It might only be a couple of turns before we see Wayne G go for a move. But Mawson making that Supra as wide as he possibly can at the moment. Thomas not far behind now as well. Thomas has started catching in the background. He's only a few seconds off the top two now. On a few laps younger set of racing mediums. But no, he pitted at the same time, didn't he? So, yeah, just taking his time on their mediums, trying not to use them too much. So the undercut did work for Mawson so far, but he has got these two very quick cars behind him. How long can he keep them at bay? We saw Thomas looking like he's going to go for a cheeky move up the inside there, but couldn't quite get it done. Mawson remains in first place. Wayne G having to go defensive now against Thomas. On the other side, Thomas may have the upper hand. No. Has to start back in behind the Viper. Definitely a spicy race here up at the front for these three guys. Try as he might, Thomas just cannot get past that Viper. Has taken the fastest lap away from Mawson though, 1:12.444. So Pickle now in fourth place. We'll check back with the battle at the front in just a second. We've got Ice Chan now in fifth. Dan Bailey still sat in sixth. Vexed currently seventh, but his tyres looking a little bit worse for wear. And oh, he's come into traffic. Getting held up now by the blue flagged car of Jonesy. He's in the Aston Martin V12 Vantage. Vex does finally find his way past, but that has slowed him right up. Look how close Clutch and Joey Smiles are. Clutch manages to get through, as does Joey Smiles. Asbo will shortly be coming up towards... In fact, no, Jonesy's doing quite well to stay with these two cars. The lapped car didn't do too well to get out of the way of Vexed, which cost him, but I'm sure he's not too salty. The Vexed tyres are really starting to die a death now. He's been pushing to try and catch Dan Bailey ahead. I know she's definitely got enough fuel left in the car, but he hasn't got enough tyres. Clutch looking racy on them hards. Clutch coming along leaps and bounds. Obviously he only switched over to the wheel in the last couple of races, so kudos to him. Doing really well at the moment in the Audi. I think he would have done quite well around Alsace Village, which we were last week. Obviously couldn't make the race. But look at Jerry Smiles now. Jerry Smiles on the mediums. What can he do in the Porsche? I think, what was that? Oh no, it's been a weird chain of events here. So we've got to go back to this point here. I think if we go on board with Clutch. So we go on board with Clutch. So slightly into the back of Vex, Vex into the barrier, and then also hits the rear of Vex once again. And again, Vex into the barrier, and then, yeah, Clutch is off into the barrier as well. That's really unfortunate, and Clutch struggling to get the car turned around now. It looks like Vex is waiting for him. Not really a lot that could be done there. I think Vex felt a bit bad after the, I think it was the first lap incident, which again, I don't think I had any power in that, mate. I think it was just the nature of the track being quite close. I think you could see in the replays, like there was nothing intentional there, just very narrow track. However, we are now on to the final lap. Thomas has managed to get past Mawson. Thomas has created some gap as well. And he is going to take the checkered flag here in the first race. Through the final turn now. Takes the fastest lap as well. First place there for Thomas, reigning Midnight Oil Racing League champion. Mawson finishes in second place there. GG's Mawson. Wayne G finishes in third. GG Wayne. Ice Chand comes from 10th to finish in 4th place. I think Chan may be having a few little network issues. Look, his car was a little bit glitchy. Dan Bailey finishes 5th in the end. Pickle has run out of fuel. And Pickle is still going to cross the line though in 6th place. Jerry Smiles will finish in 7th. We got Chuck. Chuck will finish in 8th place, and Asbo takes 9th. We had Clutch finishing in 10th, Vex was 11th, and Jonesy finished in 12th place. Well, that was it for the first race, guys. I'll be back in the second one, so I'll see you there. Goodbye.